people who are political commentators who sit on panels and give their views about what's right and what's wrong, and what they think is right and wrong, and what they think is happening and what they don't think is happening.
The media has changed substantially in that regard.
That's so true.
Recently.
That's so true. That's not my role. My role is to document what I can see, and I try to see as much as I can from as many different angles as I can, and be very straightforward in my coverage. And I don't want to talk. Of course, I have my opinions. I mean, who doesn't have an opinion of the president? Everyone has an opinion, but it doesn't do any good for me to talk about those opinions, because I don't really want to turn off 50% of the population before they've ever even seen my work.
Your work.
I want people to judge the pictures, decide what's happening in the photograph, read the captions, which are very straightforward with facts, and make their assumptions from the photographs. I don't need to tell people what's happening, whether it's right or wrong. I think people can make their own conclusions. I think the public is smart enough to do that. And so I take my role as, I wouldn't say objective. We can't be purely objective, because we bring our own experiences with us when we take pictures or write stories. But we can try to be fair. And fair doesn't mean both sides are equally right or wrong. Fair means that we judge a story, we decide what the facts are, given our experience and what we know, and we try to tell that story in that context. And trying to be true to the story and fair to the story has allowed me to continue telling it from many different sides, even though one side may not like the pictures I take on a specific day. If they believe that I'm being fair, then they will let me back in.
Okay, it's complicated.
It's very complicated.
Even though you haven't taken a stance, your book is changing views of migration and immigration, because you do so poignantly show the human experience, as you describe. How have you personally been changed by what you've covered and experienced?
Well, I've personally been changed in that I think I have a whole world of experiences. I have many, now 27, 28 years doing this. I've seen the world in many different ways. I've seen people at their very worst. I've seen people on terrible days of their lives, but acting kind and generously. And so I see that human beings across societies, even with really different cultures, we have a lot of the same goals at the end of the day. A lot of people are stressed out. A lot of people aren't. But people do want to be happy. They do love their families. They want what's best for their families. They have people, I think, have more in common than they have different. Sometimes in our current political climate, where it seems like everything's polarized, well, that's more polarized online and polarized on TV than it is in person, because you can meet up with people who have very different political views, and you can have a fantastic conversation. You can share a meal. You can even exchange views. You can shake hands and say, "Thank you, I learned something today." And if you do that in person, it can happen, but it can rarely happen online, because it's a very different beast. And I think the more personal interactions people have to exchange views, the better off we'll be.
That could be a whole other session, couldn't it? That dynamic.
Sure could.
Yes.